The European Central Bank and the Bank of England adopted a dovish stance. ECB head Christine Lagarde said that the regulator had not yet raised the issue of the timing of rate cuts, and the Bank of England even found 3 members of the Monetary Policy Committee who voted for an increase. In such conditions, the US dollar loses against its European counterparts. And we will continue to discuss whether the US dollar has grounds to recoup its losses at the beginning of the trading week. You are watching Traders Calendar for December 18 and 20. On Monday, there are a few events of the calendar. The only thing traders can pay attention to is data from experts at the IFO Institute regarding the state of the business environment in Germany. Taking into account the expectations of the German business community regarding the reduction of the interest rate and the slowdown of inflation, the business climate is improving. The experts see the business environment revitalizing and moving towards more favorable business conditions. As a result, the indicator may rise to a 5-month high of 87.8 points. Investors will welcome such news by buying the euro, and the US dollar is unlikely to regain traders' attention in such conditions. However, the US currency may have an opportunity to rise against the Australian dollar on Tuesday. The minutes of the last meeting of the Reserve Bank of Australia are being prepared for publication. In particular, the rate was not changed after the December meeting. Reserve Bank of Australia head Michelle Bullock commented on the high rate as a temporary phenomenon and the consequence of external factors, suggesting a change in rhetoric from aggressive to soft. It seems that the rate will not be raised again, and traders may start selling the Australian currency, which is at a 5-month highs against the US dollar and needs a correction. Incidentally, the Bank of Japan once reacted in the same way to high inflation by trying to keep the interest rate in the negative territory. The rate is still at minus 0.10%, supporting the national economy. Another thing is that the Japanese currency has become an outsider in the market, falling to a 30-year low against the US dollar. If the monetary authorities do not announce any changes at the end of the next meeting, the yen is likely to return to its low. And we'll see whether interest rate hikes help fight against high inflation at the opening of the US trading session. Canada will release its consumer price index. For November, the rate of price growth is expected to slow to 2.9% from 3.1%. The Bank of Canada rate will likely refrain from rate hikes, although Central Bank Governor Tiff Macklem hinted at a potential future rate hike and stated that there was no discussion of easing measures at the time. Most likely, investors will favor the US dollar against the Canadian currency. It's a similar story in the UK. On Wednesday, the fresh inflation data will be released, and the forecasts are very optimistic, suggesting a slowdown to 4.4%, which is still more than 2 times higher than the target of 2%. Nevertheless, such a decline can make the central bank adjust its monetary policy. The interest rate is unlikely to be raised. Meanwhile, the Bank of England may even begin to discuss a rate cut, so the US dollar can recover against the British pound. We will monitor the market reaction to the above-mentioned reports. Subscribe to our channel and follow changes in market sentiment with us. Any comments, questions and offers are welcomed. We wish you profitable trading and see you soon.